Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. Are you over 40 and tired of struggling with your weight, dieting, and constantly feeling like you're starting over with nutrition and fitness? Do you wish you had more energy? Do you want to lose weight and finally keep it off for good? I'm Lil, a certified nutrition coach and former registered nurse. I too have been there, and at the age of 44, I decided I was done with fad diets and chasing a lower number on the scale. I was so tired of constantly starting over and wondering why I couldn't get lasting results. I became a nutrition coach and created the Feel Your Best formula for women who want to build muscle, lose fat, and keep it off for good. If you're ready to build a better relationship with food, the scale, and your body, let's build your formula for feeling your best. If you're new here, make sure to check the episode details for the link to my newbie starter guide. You'll receive an email straight to your inbox with everything you need to start building your Feel Your Best formula. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's dive into today's episode. All right, welcome to episode 25 of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. I'm Lil, of course, and today, I had a whole other topic planned for this episode, but we will be attacking that on a future episode. I switched gears because I received so much feedback from last week's episode where I talked about why you do not have to worry about staying on track while you're on vacation. And I think that the actual discussion within that episode brought up a lot of thoughts, feelings, aha moments, light bulb moments, whatever you want to call it, for so many of you listening, because you messaged me, you emailed me. I even had one friend pick up the phone and call me and just say how emotional she got listening to it, because she just knew that she had not even thought about things that way, and it was so true for her own experiences. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about, has dieting ruined your ability to actually nourish your body? And it's building on last week's episode. So you can certainly listen to this week's episode and then go back to listen to last week's, all about vacation and staying on track during vacation. But I really hope you listen to both of them, because if you're working through these thoughts in your head, if you're feeling like you should be starting a diet, you should be on a diet, then maybe listening to these episodes can really give you some clarity on how you want to move forward. And I'm going to warn you, what we're talking about might bring up some thoughts, emotions for you, and definitely maybe some questions, but it could also maybe be a little bit of a breakthrough for you, because for me, this is what helped me break through to really having this, I would say, the best relationship I've had with food my entire life. And that's really what it's all about, is having a healthy relationship with how we are nourishing our bodies. I also want to preface all of this by saying, if there's one thing I want you to take away, and even if this is the only episode you ever listen to of my Feel Your Best Formula podcast, I want you to understand that patience is the most important part of healing your relationship with food and your body. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't necessarily happen because of dieting. And I know you would love a quick fix. I know you would love to snap your fingers and just wake up tomorrow without a care in the world when it comes to your health and wellness and the work that's required to maintain those aspects of your health that you can control. I mean, I wish it was easier. I wish we didn't live in a world where we're constantly bombarded by fast food, huge portion choices, all of these commercials about drinking alcohol. And at the same time, we're also bombarded with images of women with quote unquote perfect bodies, big boobs, skinny waist, and all the plastic surgery that's out there. It's messy. And unfortunately, there's certain things we can control and certain things we can't control. But the first thing we have to learn to control is what's going on between our ears, the thoughts that we have when we see this messaging, in deciding how we are going to react to it and how we are going to make decisions in our own life based on what is best for ourselves, and taking accountability for that, taking responsibility for it. And I know it can feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, but I'm here today to help. And I hope that you walk away from this episode feeling like you can overcome some of these issues and know that you're never too old, it's never too late, and you can build confidence, a good relationship with food, understanding how food works in your body. And it's, like I said, it's not too late. We can start today. So let's begin with why I use the word nourishing and what that even means to nourish your body. Now, for me, I don't know why this is, but when I think of the word nourish, like, what immediately comes to my mind is this vision of a cornucopia filled with a bounty of fruits, vegetables, nuts, fish, meats, avocado, just all those foods that you think of. When I think of the word nourish, I just really think of all those quote unquote healthy foods that are really good for our bodies, and they're so beautiful to look at. I mean, think of the image of a cornucopia. It is a visually pleasing image to think about, and a harvest and just all those wonderful things, abundance that come with that image. And also, to me, it makes me think of nourishing, makes me think of being really satisfied. It doesn't make me think of being hungry. And it doesn't make me think that I'm struggling. It just, the word nourish brings to mind that everything is really easy and I'm just feeling good. So it's not just a physical thing, it's this mental aspect as well. And I think that's where the magic lies. And that's why I'm choosing to use the word nourish and not fuel or feed or any number of words that you could use to describe what I'm talking about here. And when you think of those healthy foods, and I'm just going to use that word healthy because I think we all kind of know what that makes us think about, like kale, quinoa, whole grains, salmon, just thinking about those foods that you associate with living a healthy lifestyle. So when we think of those foods, but we also add the word diet to them. So if you're thinking, I'm on a diet and these are the foods that I eat while I'm on a diet, what comes to mind? Well, other feelings are going to pop up. Being hungry, being restricted, being worried about eating too much, stressing over what to eat in different situations, feeling isolated from social events, or bringing those types of healthy foods with you because you're so obsessed with staying on your plan. And what a buzzkill. All of those things just really suck the enjoyment out of eating those foods that are so good for us, because we're coming at that approach from a restrictive mindset and not an abundant mindset. So I'm going to do my best to word this next part in a way that makes the most sense. And I really hope this question that I'm going to ask you gives you some awareness and insight into maybe why dieting and weight loss has been a struggle for you and you found it frustrating. But think of those foods that I was just talking about, those foods that you know are good for you, that you know are nourishing your body. And when you think of eating intentionally and following a plan and you're on a health kick, you're being healthy, you're being good, whatever way you want to describe that. You know what I'm talking about when you're on a diet. I'm guessing healthy to you is also very strongly correlated with weight loss. So my question for you is, have you ever prioritized those same foods, those foods that you eat when you're on a diet, following a plan, right? When you're on a diet, you're following a plan, you're being very conscious about what you're eating. Have you ever done this with the intention of just eating a balanced diet and not trying to lose weight at the same time? Or do you associate being healthy with weight loss? So let's say that again. Do you associate eating healthy foods, being intentional, being mindful, following a plan, making sure that you're intentionally eating foods in a certain way? Do you associate those behaviors with losing weight as the outcome that you're looking for? Have you ever put the energy and commitment that you put towards weight loss into just nourishing your body without trying to lose weight at the same time? Have you ever tried to nourish your body just the way it is without changing it? I hope that made sense for you. Okay? Are you following me? I'm guessing that the overwhelming answer to this question, if you asked most women and probably a lot of men as well, the answer is going to be no. That, yeah, when you're eating healthy, you might do a lot of the things, but ultimately you're not doing it with the same level of commitment to nourish your body that you do when you're trying to lose weight. And you may prioritize like, oh, I want to make sure I have a salad for lunch, make sure that, I have a balanced breakfast, things like that. And you know what foods you consider really healthy for your body, but you don't give it that same attention that you do when you're on a diet. So even though you might be prioritizing these healthy foods, you're also finding that maybe you're gaining weight because you're not quite giving it the same type of commitment and priority that you do when you are following a particular diet. And for most people trying to lose weight, this is why almost 100% of diets if you cannot maintain that goal that you're trying to reach, then it does not work for you, because that's the ultimate goal, to find a place where we can live in harmony with how every day we are choosing our foods, how we move our body, and just instead of being obsessed with trying to do things right, it is an organic, natural way that we make decisions, how we spend our time, how we spend our energy. And it just isn't that big deal that we make it out to be in our heads, because it's just who we are and how we live our lives. So a diet that you can only stick to when life is really easy, but the second life throws you a curveball, everything falls apart and you end up feeling like you're starting all over because you couldn't stick to those food rules that you had when you were on the diet. So then what happens? You start Googling new diet ideas, looking for the next thing. You feel that pressure that you should be getting back on a diet. Maybe you try the diet that you tried before, but you're not recognizing that that actually didn't really work for you, because you were not able to continue to nourish your body and take care of your body when you weren't able to put this huge emphasis and priority in your daily life on making sure that you ate a certain way. And that's exactly what happened to me. I've talked about it before. But my life got really crazy, kind of bouncing a lot between my home and another family member's home, cooking them food. They had a very special diet they were on that was not in alignment with the diet that I was trying to follow. And I just realized there had to be a better way. And that was the first step in me starting to question things. And that's how I got where I am today. And that's kind of what you need to do is you need to start asking questions. And if you find yourself continuously trying to repeat the same behaviors over and over, and you're continuously disappointed in the road that you go down and where you end up, then it's time to try something new. And that first step is what's between your ears. Like I said, having a different mindset, having a different approach, and really deciding that you're going to do things differently. And when you're always trying to go on a diet, you're consciously making the decision to, quote, be healthier, because that's your intention. You want to do something healthy for your body. But maybe what you really need to do is just decide to nourish your body the way it is right now. One little asterisk here that I want to point out is obviously if you have excess body fat to the point that you are heading towards metabolic syndrome, that you have prediabetes or diabetes, you have hypertension, you have high cholesterol, all of those things that are related to having excess body fat, then yes, losing body fat should probably be, a pretty high priority for you. But instead of trying to lose and get down to this really tiny size, maybe you just take things one step at a time and really, again, look at it from nourishing your body, because if you've been eating excess amounts of really calorie dense, high fat, high sugar foods, then it's time to nourish your body with those foods that we think of, like I said, that cornucopia of a bountiful harvest and those really healthy foods that we know are so good for our body, and those foods give our body what it needs to thrive. And that's what we all want, right? We want to thrive. So what if you just worked on building a more positive relationship with food instead of that added pressure of trying to watch the scale go down? What if you did that? Then the problem is with a lot of diets is they're just giving you a plan with the intention of losing weight. They're not giving you a plan to show you how to nourish your body. For most of you listening, this is almost a scary thought, but it could change everything for you. I know it's been scary for the clients that I have talked to about this, where I say to them, how about we just don't lose weight? How about you just figure out how to eat properly for your body where it is right now? And after years of just always feeling that pressure that the goal should always be to lose weight, it can be really, really scary. But if you have 5, 10, 20, maybe 30 or so pounds to lose, and you don't have any concerning health markers, and everything is looking good when you go to your doctor's appointment, then honestly, just starting with nourishing your body is probably where I would start you off. And let's talk about why constantly dieting and over dieting can be harmful for you. Now, especially myself, I'm in my 40s, I'm in perimenopause, and honestly, if you've been dieting, restricting, just doing cardio for years and years and years, this can put you at a disadvantage when you start reaching that perimenopause, menopausal stage, but it's not too late. Over dieting, this is the practice of excessively restricting calories or certain types of foods for an extended period of time. And I'm sorry, but most diets out there are causing you to over diet. These are formulas for over dieting. Unless you have someone specifically working with you, understanding your activity level, your body composition, and making a plan for you, the one size fits all diets create a plan that, yes, it's going to work for lots and lots of people because it's going to slash your calories and cause you to over diet, which is going going to cause you to lose weight quickly. So you're going to think that it works, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be successful in the long term. The plan I was following for years and years and years had me 500 to 700 calories lower than my metabolic needs. And now I know that is totally nuts. No wonder I couldn't stick to it. No wonder I didn't gain muscle on it. And no wonder I felt just low energy after a few weeks. I would feel low energy and I would fall off the wagon, and then I would think there was something wrong with me, and then I would start it all up again because I just didn't understand how my body was responding to what I was doing. And I thought I was doing things right. I was trying to be as healthy as I possibly could, but the way that plan was set up is it was setting me up for failure. And over dieting can harm your metabolism in quite a few ways. First, if your body's not getting enough calories, it's gonna slow down its metabolic rate to conserve energy because it's worried that you're not gonna have enough energy to fuel it properly. And this can make it even harder to lose weight and maintain your weight loss because it's just your body is slowing down, right? And you think, like high metabolism, low metabolism. Low metabolism is something that also happens as we age. So you're kind of putting a double whammy on it. Also, you're going to lose muscle mass. Over dieting your body, you're going to lose fat, you're going to lose water weight, and you're going to lose muscle. If you want to lose body fat and maintain your muscle, there is a very specific way to go about that, but slashing calories is not the way that you do it. And when you have muscle, your lean muscle mass is more metabolically active, meaning it needs more calories. It's going to help you burn more calories even while you're at rest. It's not a huge number, but it is certainly better for your body to have more lean muscle mass than adipose or fat tissue, right? Two people can weigh the exact same amount, but one person could have more lean muscle mass and one person could have more adipose tissue. And the person with the lean muscle mass is most likely going to be burning more calories. Their body's going to have a higher metabolic need because they are just functioning with that lean muscle, which just, again, higher metabolic rate. I've talked about this before, but over dieting can lead to nutrient deficiencies. So not only are you missing out on the micronutrients that your body needs, the vitamins, the minerals, but some of those vitamins and minerals, such as the things your thyroid needs to function, like iodine and things like that, then it can actually cause your thyroid to get thrown off. And your body wants to create the state of homeostasis, which is where everything is just equally balanced out and working and functioning and working cohesively so that you can thrive. And if you are missing the fuel, the energy, those micronutrients, the macronutrients, then your body has to work hard to compensate. And it's just harder on your body if you are underfeeding your body. Things are not going to go the way you want. If you actually got to the point where you lost your menstrual cycle, that is a huge red flag. The hormones in your body rely on having enough body fat to carry that messaging throughout your body, and losing your menstrual cycle, it's a sign that you need to stop what you're doing. You need to refeed your body. You need to speak to your physician. And that is a huge concern. And it's something that happens with eating disorders. Please, if you lose your menstrual cycle, please reach out to your gynecologist and get some help there, because it is a sign that your body is not getting enough fat and you need to start feeding your body right. It can also mess with under eating, can also mess with the hormones that cause you to have hunger, the hormone leptin. And if you're under eating, those levels can drop, and you are sabotaging yourself and creating this vicious cycle. And I think that's how a lot of us feel when we get to that place where we are just hungry and we think we're following a plan, but then our body is telling us we're hungry, feed me, feed me, feed me. And we don't understand how we got there. Well, it's because you've messed with your hormones, you've messed with that homeostasis in your body, and you are not feeding it what it needs. So it's going to start screaming at you, please feed me. And I think what sucks most about all of this is because you're dieting because you want to do something really good for yourself, and you feel like you're doing something healthy and you feel like it's going to benefit you in the long run, but it's too harsh, it's unsustainable. And then you think you failed because you're the failure, you're the problem. You think that something is wrong with you, when in actuality, most likely it is the diet that you're trying to follow that is actually being harmful and unsustainable. It would take me years to list all the issues that our society has that causes, the thoughts in your head and all of these emotions and messed up approaches that we have to being healthy, dieting. It is a mess. And at the end of the day, it is just so important to adopt a sustainable, balanced approach to healthy eating and weight management that supports a healthy, functioning body, your metabolism, your hormones, all of those things. And most of the diets out there are going to mess with it rather than be helpful and do it in a way that nourishes your body. And I'm not saying that you should never approach weight loss intentionally. You should never approach fat loss intentionally right now. As I talked about on my Instagram stories, I am in a calorie deficit, my first attempt at fat loss in almost 2 years after healing my relationship with food, nourishing my body where it was and not trying to diet, building muscle. And it is just this really freeing feeling. And that's the feeling I want for you. And as I've said before, you are the only one who has to live in your body. So it's your responsibility to do what you can to take care of it. And maybe that first step is just to think about what I shared here. Maybe you started listening to this podcast because you thought you wanted diet tips, or maybe you're thinking about starting to use macro counting and you think that should be your right next step. But maybe you also don't need to diet. Again, like what I said, if you don't have any concerning health markers, I think it's really, really important to make sure that anyone listening to this understands that if you have concerns with your health related to excess body fat, then yes, you definitely need to approach things a little bit differently. And maybe you could use anyone, you're listening to this, maybe you could use macros to actually nourish your body because your body's counting macros anyway. So why not help it out? If you've spent the last few years or decades feeling like you need to be on a diet and nothing has worked for the long term, then maybe it's time to stop chasing weight loss, put a pause on those thoughts, put a pause on that search that you do, when you're scrolling Instagram and scrolling social media and going on Google. Put a pause to all of that and start breaking down those thoughts and beliefs, because that can be the hardest part. I do offer limited spots in my one-to-one coaching, and that's where, with my ultimate coaching package, that's where we really work through these issues. It's not something that can really be handled on a one-time call. This is why I ask you for a 3-month commitment. I require a 3-month commitment if you're going to work one-on-one with me. And it's because we have to work through the mindset. We have to work through the old thoughts and beliefs, and we have to figure out how to nourish our bodies without having that crash diet mentality of instantly wanting to lose weight. And I will not work with anyone who wants that quick fix. If you're going to work with me, you have to understand that it's going to have that patience. You're going to have that patience that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. If this is something you're interested in working through, then I encourage you to book a free 15-minute call with me to see if this could be the right next step for you. I do have limited spots for my one-on-one coaching because of the commitment that it requires, and you work so closely with me. But you can book a 15-minute session with me. Just go to the show notes and all the information will be there. And I'm going to end this here because I feel like I gave you a lot to think about over this past half hour. And you can find more information on this episode in the show notes. And if you want to reach out, have questions, comments, I really love the feedback that I've been getting from you guys. Okay. So I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to check the episode details for my new listener starter guide, and any additional resources mentioned in the episode can also be found in the show notes on my website. You can always find me on Instagram at Macros with Lil, and for more healthy lifestyle tips, recipes, and information on my one-to-one and group coaching services, make sure to check out my website. All the links can be found below. If you know someone else who is ready to start building their formula for feeling their best, please share the love and send them a link to the podcast. I hope you found today's episode helpful, and I'll see you back here next week for a brand new one.